Hey, good morning, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little while since I've done a video, and I'm very, very sorry. Tears coming down my face. I do apologize. It is, of course, the most dreaded season of the year. Taxes. So I've been doing taxes for a little while. My taxes aren't too complex, but I do have a lot of documents that I have to scan in and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so that's kind of what I've been doing. Also, I've been really swamped with work. So that being said, I am currently doing a lot of work in toy design. So I thought that it might be fun this morning to kind of do kind of an overview of my process of kind of starting a character. Whenever I do characters, I usually immerse myself in the story that a client will give me, or a story that I've written, or an idea or a sketch, or I'll go through my sketchbook and I'll kind of mull through different characters that I've done. And that's why it's very important to draw something, either every day or every other day or whenever you get some time, because what that does is it builds up that not only muscle memory, but it builds up that enthusiasm. And there's a possibility that there'll be a happy accident. What is a happy accident, Mike? Happy accident is whenever you stumble across something that typically is kind of, unexpected. Whenever I do watercolor or painting, sometimes, I'll be painting and suddenly something will happen that not necessarily was an accident, was kind of a contrived moment maybe, but then it becomes something as a springboard to something else. So that's kind of what your sketchbook is. It's, to me, exploration, to me, a place that you can really explore, make tons of mistakes. I kind of funny because, I look at some of the sketchbooks out there, that people have produced, and I see a lot of polished sketchbooks. Polished being they've actually gone back in and they've corrected some of the drawings for anatomy, corrected some of the thoughts that maybe weren't presentable, and they've really not lived up to. They've not really shown what a sketchbook is. To me, a sketchbook is it's not a huge mess, but it's a lot of mistakes. It's a lot of triumphs. It's kind of one of those situations. So whenever I start doing character design and characters, I do a lot of reference pulls. I do a lot of, depending on, like, if somebody were to say, hey, Mike, I want you to draw a character for a dog. So I'll go in and I'll look at tons of dogs. I'll look at the anatomy of dogs. I'll look at existing characters in the marketplace that are popular and kind of draw from those and come up with an idea of my own. But this morning, you guys know that I love dinosaurs, and I love alligators, I love animals, I love bears. Oh my gosh, what else do I like? I just like doing animals. So this morning I'm going to do, something that I've been meaning to do for a while, dinosaurs. So I'm just going to do a really quick sketch of a dinosaur. I don't think I'm going to get too involved in it. Of course, tongue-in-cheek. That's what I always say, and then I fall in love with the drawing and end up spending 2 hours on it. So that's not really going to happen this morning. I did have some requests a while back to do some stuff from Lord of the Rings. So currently I'm looking and pulling reference for some dwarves and stuff like that. I of course am working on my Frankenbeans concept, and then I've got another children's book that I'm going to possibly be doing soon, which is really cool, being contractor for that. I can't really give you any information because it's proprietary, so that is going to take up a large chunk of my time. And I wish I could show you guys some of the really cool toys that I'm doing. I mean, if I could show you guys some of this stuff, maybe my channel would grow a little bit faster, but whenever you sign a non-disclosure agreement, you can't show any of the work that you do. That sucks, because the majority of my day is taken up with all the rest of this stuff. I mean, you guys see just this much. You see this much. You see that much of the day that I have. I wish I could show you some of the stuff. What's nice, though, is once it gets produced, I can say, check it out, guys. Check out these toys. Check them out. Okay, here we go. I'll give you a prime example. Whenever I worked over at Disney Consumer Products, I was tasked to do some toys for their Disney Racer program whenever the first Star Wars movie was released. You know, whenever they The Force Awakens. So this particular, gosh, the lighting is horrible. This particular toy right here, which is BB-8, I sketched it and concepted it, and they you know, took the turnaround sketches, they sent it over to China, they did a sculpt of it, and they molded it, you know, poured the molds and everything, and created this particular toy. I mean, whenever I see something like this, it really gives hope to the fact that, you know, what I do has value. So this is an actual toy that I concepted, and I didn't create it by hand, and I didn't mold it in ZBrush, but I sketched it out traditionally. I did all the turns, and they took those particular concept designs and they created this particular piece of art. It's kind of funny how in the world of technology these days with three-dimensional art and sculpting that you know, they still use those traditional methods, and a guy like me to create toys still, which is fantastic. So anyway, and you know, I'm learning the 3D sculpting program and be able to use it in my professional career. So we're at 6 minutes and 15 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and pass you over to the drawing stage of the video, and hope you guys enjoy. And you know, I'll be talking throughout the video, so hopefully you guys will like it. Okay, hopefully the lighting is okay. Recently, when I was swiveling the light that I have, it broke off its base, and it's kind of sitting up there precariously. Hopefully it won't move too much. Today I'm going to be doing a dinosaur with kind of a twist of humor. He's going to be a fat dinosaur. I'm drawing on this toned, hold on. I'm drawing on this toned paper. You guys have seen me use this before. This isn't really the standard paper that I like to use. I do have a lot of drawings on it though. And the reason why, a lot of people have asked, not only the reason why I use toned paper, but you know, they're like, hey bro, what paper do you use? Maybe if I knew the type of paper that you use, then I could draw exactly like you. You know, I definitely see value in that mentality, but also you need to understand that the paper is just part of the equation. I like this paper because it's got a really good tooth to it. It doesn't mar up very well, meaning, you know, you can erase quite a bit on it if you need to. I don't typically erase anything. Like, that's why my drawings look so messy. And it's got a mid-tone, so whenever I do my lights and darks, I don't have to, you know, darken in so much. It's kind of like a mid-tone that I can just push the darks and pull out the whites, if that makes sense to you guys. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and shut my face for kind of useless stuff. I watched quite a few videos recently by one of my favorite artists, Aaron Blaze, and it's such a pleasure to watch somebody that has been in the industry and has experienced so many things and done so many things that, you know, it's sometimes, what's great about watching artists like that is they inspire you. What we all need sometimes, especially if you're kind of in the doldrums, like I've been lately, to really look at somebody that you not only admire, but also aspire to be like. You know, he has done so many things, as other artists have as well, and I would never ever belittle, you know, any other artist that has large accomplishments. I mean, there's quite a few artists that I not only admire, but also not only emulate, but also aspire to be similar to. You know, Glenn Keane. There's a children's book illustrator that I like a lot by the name of Will Terry. He's got a great philosophy and a channel. I'm sure if you look him up, willterry.com, and he's got lots of videos that really inspire you. And a lot of insider information. But to watch somebody like, here, let me get this circle. He's kind of a fat dinosaur. To watch somebody like Aaron draw and also create and also teach at the same time. And what's really great is, you know, I have access to this person through YouTube and Facebook. He draws all the time. I think probably tomorrow. I think every Tuesday he does a Facebook drawing. And what's great about him is his desire to teach and to pass on stuff. And I think that comes from the fact that whenever he was early on in his career, he had quite a few people that helped him along. They helped him along with his drawing process and his creation process. And as artists, sometimes I feel like we're in competition. Obviously, we're in competition for those illustration dollars or graphic design dollars. But the thing is in the realm of art, there should be some kind of how do I put this? Some kind of give him a fat belly. An understanding that the facets of who you are as an artist can be passed on to somebody who is interested in utilizing your skills. We're supposed to be a community, a community of artists on the internet, in the world. Has feet here. He's got a line of action that comes down. And I think, since drawing is a skill, something that can be passed on, taught, learned, and appreciated, that you should, in some capacity, some way, pass on what you know to others. And what that'll do not only is really, because what I've realized, especially in my teaching career, because I teach, is whenever you put it in terms of teaching, a lot of times it helps you understand better as the teacher. And you're saying, well, wait a minute, shouldn't you know all this stuff? Yes, you should. But what's really cool is whenever you're forced to talk about it, and I'm sure some of you guys will back me up on this, whenever you're forced to talk about something, you have to put it in terms that not only you can understand, but where somebody that doesn't know what you're talking about has to understand. So one of the things that I was taught early on in my teaching career is if the person that you're teaching can't understand what you're saying, then you need to find a way. Find a way. How do you find a way to teach somebody? You have to kind of look at that situation in terms of that person is completely the proper terminology would be ignorant, but ignorant has such a negative connotation. I'm ignorant of a ton of things. I don't know about rocket science, so therefore I am ignorant about it. I don't know too much about sewing. Therefore I am ignorant about that profession. Welding, blah, blah, blah. The list can go on and on. The person that you're teaching is ignorant about drawing, so you need to find a common ground to which you both understand, and then you explain it to them on a plane or in terminology that they can relate to. So whenever I teach, I talk about shapes. I talk about basic shapes. I talk about form being the moment to which you have that kind of revelation of three-dimensionality. Because we all live in a three-dimensional world, and I've explained this before. We live in that three-dimensional world, and drawing is trying to explain that three-dimensional world using a flat surface or 2 dimensions. So you have to think three-dimensionally. One of the things that Aaron had indicated, and this is, excuse me, for one of the drawings that he was thinking about or drawing the other day for his Facebook Live. It might have been a repeat. Anyway, and he kept saying, thinking three-dimensionally. Well, I can say that, but how do you think three-dimensionally? Well, the thing is you're already doing it. You're already thinking three-dimensionally. You already look at the world with three-dimensional eyes. You already look at and relate to your world three-dimensionally. Whenever you go and you open the refrigerator, okay? You look at a refrigerator and you see all the food inside and there's stuff inside. Mentally you have to reach inside of the refrigerator, grab that object and pull it towards you. So whenever you think about that, automatically you think three-dimensionally. If I was thinking two-dimensionally, I wouldn't be able to reach in because it has no 2 dimensions has no depth. You only have height and width. So whenever I teach, I try to put it in terms that, I got to give him a hand here. Let's see. I want him to be a villain. Sorry Sorry to kind of segue into actual drawing, but what I'm trying to do is kind of do a couple things at once here. All right. So, whenever I started looking at this particular drawing, and I started to think in terms of, how am I going to add this arm? I wanted to think in terms of depth. So, I know that the back of this particular drawing, he has a back, right? There's a back over here. There's things that I can't see. There's a front to him. Gravity affects him, so gravity is pulling down on him. So you're going to have this bulge right here because gravity is pulling, it's pulling this way, it's pulling this way, it's pulling this way. So it's pulling this, the gravity is pulling this. So then you have, the bottom of his chin. Instead of going straight down, I have it bulged at the bottom because, again, all that flesh comes here to that seam and it pulls on the flesh. So that's why you have that pulling. So thinking three-dimensionally, I have this arm that not only comes out, but it comes around and it comes back up, and you have the bottom of his arm that comes here and the top. Now, this comes from years and years of drawing in terms of musculature and how muscle is affected by gravity and how you can basically rely upon certain drawing cues to form, to make something have form. So whenever you look at an arm, a lot of times, you have to understand where the muscles are. So let me get my arm down here. The bottom of the arm has a lot of muscle, so it's going to be rounded, okay, rounded. So then you have the top, which if you reach on the top of your arm and you push in on your arm, the bone is there. So basically, you're going to have bone on the top. So you'll have a straight line and a curved line on the bottom. Now, of course, this depends on what you're drawing. It depends on the angle to which you are looking. It depends on a lot of factors. So doing a lot of drawing and exploring how you see and forming how you see is going to help you draw successfully. So, that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on time lapse because I believe I'm right at 16 minutes, 17 minutes. So I'm going to put you guys on time lapse and wrap it up. And I'm probably going to do some color on this one, really quick color. Give him a really big tooth right here. It curves up a little bit. Not to be long-winded or anything, I just want to make sure you guys have the information. Yeah, we'll give him some silly eyes. And I'll be posting, if any of you guys follow me on Instagram, just look up my name, Michael Clarida. Or you can, follow me on Twitter, and all that stuff is down in the description below. My Twitter and all that other stuff. I try to post stuff regularly, if I can. Boop, 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 boop. And the other hand's going to be... I might have him holding something. That would be funny, right? Having holding something. Have the thumb come up like this. Right there. Maybe I'll have him hold a sign. Anyway, so enjoy the drawing. And, like I said before, please like and subscribe. It really helps a lot. We've grown the channel. I'm probably getting like 2 to 3 subscribers a day. Not growing too quickly. Ask me any questions, and I'll try to get to them as quick as I can. I do have my phone with me, and when you guys make a comment or anything, it goes instantaneously to me, so I see it pretty much instantly. So if you were to message me, I'll see it almost instantaneously, which is really cool. And typically I respond accordingly, if I can. So anyway, thank you guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, you guys, that pretty much wraps up this particular drawing. I didn't go too in depth with it just because I've got a huge amount of work today. However, I was able to put some color in and really utilize the texture of the paper. That's what I like about this. If you look closely, the texture of the paper really comes out. Whenever you start layering that color pencil in, it really brings a hand-done quality to it. I might even scan this in and put a little bit more shadowing into it, maybe some burn and dodge in Photoshop, depending on how much time I have today. But this is pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Ask questions if you have them. Like and subscribe if you can. I really appreciate everything that you guys have done, and the channel's growing every single day. If there's any creatures or anything like that you'd like to see, it really helps for me to have a list. I do have an ongoing list, you know, superheroes and different subjects and stuff like that. So thanks again, you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.